A yellowed book page, eerie ghost tomb, a forgotten story by the world.Su Ruoxi, a long-deceased celestial master, and all of this has to start with a mysterious contract. Chapter 1. Descending the Mountain. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 2. Life Buying Ghost. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. School Flower. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 4. Origin. You are listening at novel full.audio. Lin Xiu, one of the 5 wonders of Taoism, entered the heavenly master realm at the age of 18, overwhelming the second-generation disciples of the magic world. At the same time, she also comes from her ancestral home. Su Ruoxi felt a little wary of her from the bottom of her heart, her eyes were a bit erratic, and her thoughts drifted further and further away. I will write it later, but I can't make it up now, except for Lin Xiu herself. No one knows what happened that night, and Chen only arrived at Longhu Mountain after that incident. Su Ruoxi rubbed her eyebrows and couldn't help but feel a headache. Just then, the phone placed on the bed rang. Hello, who is that? I'm Lao Zhang, junior sister. I just received another big order. Are you interested? The voice on the other end of the phone sounded unusually excited. I'm not interested, Su Ruoxi replied coldly. She was currently restless, how could she have the heart to deal with such a thing? The bonus is 100,000 yuan. Cough cough. Senior brother, as a heavenly master, we eliminate harm for the people and fulfill our wishes for peace in the world. Upon hearing the prize money, Su Ruoxi's eyes lit up and she immediately patted the Sichuan basin with a righteous expression on her face. Remember to come to me tomorrow and I'll tell you the specific situation. Okay. Su Ruoxi, who hung up the phone, still couldn't believe it in her heart. A supernatural event occurred just as school started. It seems that Tianhai City is not very peaceful. The next day, Su Ruoxi arrived at Lao Zhang's house early in the morning, and she was quite concerned about making money. Lao Zhang, are you at home? Su Ruoxi said curiously when she saw a police car parked at the door. They're all here. As soon as she entered the door, Su Ruoxi saw a short-haired female detective sitting in the yard drinking tea. Su Ruoxi glanced lightly at the female detective and then said, "This is." Upon hearing the sound, Lao Zhang quickly pulled Su Ruoxi onto a chair and introduced her, "This is Shen Mengyao, the team leader of the Tianhai branch. She is in charge of today's case." After listening to Lao Zhang's introduction, Su Ruoxi nodded with some confusion. "This is my junior sister, Su Ruoxi," Lao Zhang explained nervously to the female detective. "Hello. Hello." The two shook hands briefly and then began to get to the main topic. "Master Zhang, do you believe in the existence of zombies?" Shen Mengyao suddenly said with a hint of fear in her eyes. "Speak slowly, I will do my best to help you," Lao Zhang comforted her. "We have to start from a week ago. That night, we received a report that a resident had found a body by the river. When we arrived at the scene of the incident later, there were still many residents watching. A forensic doctor walked over and was about to examine the wound of the deceased. Unexpectedly, at that moment, the body lying on the ground suddenly sat up and grabbed the forensic doctor's arm fiercely. At that time, there were many onlookers, and our response was an electrostatic reaction. However, only our internal staff knew that the corpse had been faked. The electrostatic reaction produced by an ordinary corpse could not have caused such a deep wound to the forensic expert. After saying these words, Shen Mengyao picked up the tea at hand and took a big sip before suppressing her inner fear. After finally transporting the body back to the hospital, the forensic doctor first treated the wound and then prepared to start analyzing the cause of death according to the usual procedure. But by the time we all arrived at the morgue, it was already past 1 o'clock in the morning, and the body was lying there, with no one daring to touch it. I was quite bold at the time, so I led a few confidants to the bed where the body was placed. When I saw the face of the body clearly, I couldn't help but take a cold breath. That's a corpse. That was a corpse that had completely lost its flesh and blood, with a layer of human skin tightly attached to its bones, and its facial features were completely indistinguishable from its original appearance. It could only be seen from its clothing that the deceased was a middle-aged man. Later, when they saw that I was fine, they all gathered around and chattered about discussing the information about the body. The next morning, the autopsy results came out, but when I went to inquire, the forensic doctors hesitated and refused to say a word. Finally, I found the autopsy report with some impatience, and the results on the report were a bit unbelievable. The deceased drowned. People who often drown know that after drowning, the body will become particularly swollen and pale, but the characteristics of the body in front of us are not even comparable to drowning. This is too weird. Later, an old detective in the bureau said it might be a supernatural event and asked me to come here and ask Master Zhang Su. Ruoxi clearly saw that after speaking, Shen Menyao's hand holding the teacup trembled slightly, which was a subconscious reaction of a person after being extremely afraid. She couldn't help but wonder what kind of corpse could scare an agent like this. Let's go take a look now. Lao Zhang suggested. The yang energy is too strong now, and there is no abnormality to be seen. We will go tonight and prepare what we need for the evening first. Su Ruoxi rubbed her hands excitedly. Shen Mengyao beside her looked at Su Ruoxi with a bit of confusion. Why is she not afraid at all? Judging from this posture, it's a rhythm of preparing to fight the corpse. Has the world become so chaotic now? Lao Zhang, do you have a 7-star lamp here? Su Ruoxi listed many possible items on the paper and casually asked Lao Zhang. Yes. Do we still need a 7-star lamp tonight? Old Zhang didn't quite understand. Just in case. Okay. Lao Zhang still trusts his junior sister very much. Detective Shen, I see that your expression is a bit off. Why don't you stay here for a while? Su Ruoxi looked at Shen Mengyao in front of her, her face pale, with 2 thick circles under her eyes, looking unusually haggard. Okay, then. So far, Shen Mengyao has no other choice but to rely on Lao Zhang and the others for hope. In the evening, Su Ruoxi and her group set off. Detective Shen, I have an exorcism talisman here. You can carry it with you, otherwise I'm afraid I won't be able to pay attention when something unexpected happens. Old Zhang handed Shen Mengyao a purple talisman, which was obviously drawn by Su Ruoxi. When she received the talisman, Shen Menyao's eyes were full of surprise. As an agent, she had some understanding of talismans and seals, and naturally knew how valuable a purple talisman was. Thank you, Master Zhang, it's just. Shen Mengyao hesitated for a moment and said. We are destined to give it to you, Lao Zhang waved his hand nonchalantly. Upon hearing this, Shen Mengyao felt embarrassed to speak again, but deep down, she had already regarded Lao Zhang as a true master. Lao Zhang didn't know Shen Menyao's thoughts, but simply felt afraid that Shen Mengyao would get into trouble and affect his reputation. As for the talisman paper, with Su Ruoxi around, he still cares about this small talisman. Chapter 5. Night Trek into the Corpse Room. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 6. Causes of Death. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 7. Evening Party. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 8. Night Exploration of Cemetery. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 9. Ghost Pressing the Bed. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 10. Ghosts in the Mirror. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text.